Well, welcome. We're going to be talking about a crown of glory. A crown of glory. So, well, when we all get to heaven, we're going to get a crown of glory. Well, maybe. Maybe. But I wouldn't count on it. All right? Now, really, what I want to talk about in terms of crown of glory is not what most of us think. In Proverbs chapter 16, verse 31. Now, this is going to be interesting for some of us. Proverbs 16:31 says, "The hoary head is a crown of glory, comma, if it be found in the way of righteousness." If it be found in the way of righteousness. If it's found doing the right things the right way. Now, this hoary head is speaking of gray, white, if you please. You say, well, don't turn me off. Gray, white hair is a crown of glory. It takes time to get there, except for those who, through the DNA factor, had premature gray. All right? It's called premature. But once we've come to maturity in life and have now gotten gray hair, white hair, it's supposed to be a crown of glory. Not just a crown to cover your head, but the crown of glory. That goes for men or women. But what do we really have today? Well, you know where I'm going, right? But I want to go further than where you think I'm going. Because where you think I'm going, yes, I may be going there, but I want to go further. Because there are people, too many, and I'm talking primarily to Christians, that is, those who are born again and taken out of what they used to be placed into who they now are identified with, which is Christ. And the genealogy factor of their old pedigree is, if you please, cut off, and the genealogy of the believer goes all the way back to the cross, where what we were is eliminated, crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ. The old has been crucified. The old man has been crucified. All that is old has passed away, and behold, all things are become new. Peter said it. He finally got that revelation. We're a chosen generation. So the genealogy begins with the passing of what we used to be, the burying of what we used to be, and resurrection in what we are, walking in newness of life, Romans 6. Now, what we have here is an opportunity to live a life now, redeemed from what we were, to be who now we are, and physiologically get a restoration. That's right. I'm not talking about restored to the crib where you were a baby. I'm saying renewed in strength, vitality, because he was wounded for transgressions. Jesus was bruised for iniquity. He was chastised for us to have psychological and emotional peace. And he was beaten with stripes so that we can have physical healing. So those threefold aspects of the salvation and redemption, friends, it's time for a whole new start. Being born again means more than just going to heaven. It means bringing heaven here while you're on your way there. Now that we've been around for a while, we've been doing the right thing the right way, and now we have gray hair. What is the deal on color back? What is the deal on dyeing the hair back or dyeing it a different color because you don't want to see gray? Ask yourself the next time you get into the mirror, not you, but those you know. Tell them to ask themselves, why am I upset with my gray hair? What is it about my gray hair that troubles me? Is it because I've not lived righteously? Is it because life has gotten away from me and time has passed me by? I have good news for all of us. Paul said in Ephesians 5, redeeming the time for the days of evil. Redeeming means go and buy it back. You hawked it, you put it in the pawn shop of time. Now pay a little interest and go get the time back. The psalmist in Psalm 84 verse 10 says, a day in thy court is better than 1,000. I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. God gives us 1,001 days in recovery if we get into the court of the Lord. 1,000 days can be made up for one day in the court. So what is this colorback stuff? What is this dying stuff? I'll tell you what it is. It is an admission that we have lived sloppy agape and greasy grace. It's an admission that we have not lived a righteous life. It's an admission that we are disappointed with the way we have lived our lives, and we don't have a right to wear the crown of glory. Well, friends, the story is we can redeem the time. Just simply got to get busy. Now, there's another downside to dyeing your hair, because all of those chemicals that you put in your hair that lands upon your scalp, and when you're out in the sun and that sun is baking those chemicals down into your brains, down into your cells, you'll find that your physiology begins to break down from your head down to your feet. And you may look good to some folk with the dyed hair and the facelift and the false teeth and the false fingernails and the clad of clothes that make you look like Al Capone's bodyguard. Friends, but on the inside, there's condemnation, regret, faithlessness, fear, all kinds of abnormalities in our physiology. We can redeem the time. We can get out of this mess. And I have seen so many. One of my friends, wonderful crown of white hair, but his wife had her natural color. And he looked like he was her father rather than husband. And one day he just got tired of looking that way. And people saying, oh, look, oh, you got a wonderful daughter here. Well, he decided to dye his hair. And so he flew out to California, and his son was to pick him up. His son passed him 2 or 3 times. Didn't even know it was his father, because he hadn't told his son he had dyed his hair. Can you imagine your own son not even recognizing the father? When the Bible said the glory of the fathers are their children. The glory of the fathers are their children. Children glory in their fathers. I know on TV, hi mom, hi mom, hey, hi mom. Now, the glory of the children are their fathers. And the fathers should have the kind of wisdom that crown of glory, when it finally does arrive, that we're not ashamed, and hey, look, we don't put down our lives before our children. Come on now. You've been there. You've been a teenager. You've been 30. You've been 40. You've been 50. The gray hair has shown up. Wear it before you pay the price for the sloppy agape and greasy grace. This is important information. And I know a lot of preachers, you say, oh, my pastor dyes his hair. I'm glad I don't know who your pastor is. Oh, the first lady, oh, she dyes her hair. She don't like gray hair. Tell her to click on this message and get with the program. Look, I wouldn't want my mother hair, if you please, blacker than mine. Here I am, closer to 70 than I am 60. And I'm going to dye my hair. And then my son, he's in his 40s. Our sons are in their 40s. And they have gray hair. And my hair is black as all get up. That doesn't make any sense. It's really a shame. It's really a shame. And what it does, it causes other people in the congregation to take liberty and falsify their identification with the eternal Christ as well. Let me conclude with this. In the book of Revelation, when John was on the Isle of Patmos, and he heard the voice of the Lord, and he says in verse 13, chapter 1, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paths with a golden girdle. Verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire. Jesus has white hair. Don't you want to be like Jesus? Don't you want to be like him, the Ancient of Days? Somewhere there in Daniel, if I pull it up real quick, in Daniel chapter 7, where it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Ooh-wee. My. When we see the Lord Jesus Christ, and that, he'll have crowns upon his head, but you'll be able to see that white hair under there. So friends, if you've been blessed to have white hair, gray hair, if you've been blessed to get there, don't cover it up. Let it shine. Wear that crown. Take out the color back, because it's not going to take you back. No, you can sing, take me back, dear Lord, when I used to have black hair. It's not going to do it. Redeem the time. Buy it back. Well, I see my time is out. Just a little word, please. Don't be offended with that. This is serious business with the Lord. Too many people have died from diseases, just dyeing their hair. We'll see you next time. God bless.